Welcome to the Leading Hope Podcast with Kevin Jack. Your influence will lead people somewhere, lead them towards hope. Everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count.
Welcome to Leading Hope with Kevin Jack. I'm your host, VJ Williams, here with my friend and pastor, Kevin Jack. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day to become a better leader. We release a new episode every Wednesday, so we'd love for you to share on social media and bring others along with us on this journey of becoming a better leader. Visit leadinghope.online to get updates and find out more about the Leading Hope community. If you're new to the podcast or haven't yet subscribed, it would mean the world to us if you did that right now. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe right there. Also, post about it, rate and review. You will not believe how that helps us get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders like you. And we are in episode 60.
Good, you got it that time.
60, lead at home. Come on, somebody.
So the release date for this is December 23rd, the day before Christmas Eve, or if you're a church dork, we call it Christmas Adam.
Someone said that today, and I didn't know that's what we called it.
Yeah, it's right before Eve, okay?
Yeah,
Because Adam came before Eve.
Yeah, I can't take that kind of humor.
Well, we'll edit that out of the podcast maybe at some point in time in the future. So here we are. So we're in the holiday time if you're listening to these as these are released. And so
happy holidays.
Stop it. No more. And so we're talking about leading at home because we felt like, hey, that would be the most helpful subject that we could talk about. Some of this material is going to be a carryover from our Joy in Leadership series that we've been in for the last month, but we'll get to that in a little bit and as it comes out. So let me start back at the very beginning, okay, to color the context of this conversation. What is leadership? Leadership is an ability to move people in a direction, and we say it like this over and over again. Your leadership will have an impact. You can lead them towards despair. We believe that you want to lead them towards hope. This requires skills of communication, of conflict management, of goal setting, of planning, of strategizing. It requires skills. It requires a certain perspective that you take a proactive and not reactive approach, that you're playing offense and not just defense. Otherwise, you're responding and you're not actually leading. It requires a vision that you know the address of the destination that you want to head towards. This is leadership, an ability to move people in a direction. Now, let me put some confession so we can know fully what we're heading into. I am ineffective as a parent when I am just attempting to curb my kids' behavior. I am most effective when I'm using everything to help shape their identity. When I'm simply correcting the things that they do, I am not very effective as a parent. When I am taking all the things that are taking place in their lives and tracking it back to who they are as a person and who they want to become is when I am most effective. I am ineffective as a husband when I'm frustrated by what happens. I'm not going to give case examples to that because that would just be foolish of me to do in this moment. I'll just simply say I am ineffective.
Just come on a Sunday or watch online.
It is Christmas Adam when this is released. Yeah. I don't need that in my life right now.
January.
I'm ineffective when I'm frustrated by what happens. I am effective when I'm spending time crafting a shared vision and acting for my spouse's success. When Bethany and I are clear on where we're headed and we're acting in our mutual interest and the benefit of the other person, that is when we are most effective in our relationship. That is leadership. Not just curbing behavior, not just shaping behavior, but using it to shape identity is leadership. Not just responding to every frustration that comes up, but being clear on where you're headed and acting for the benefit of the other person. It is leadership. But what I want to press upon us is often as leaders, we lead well outside the home, but not inside the home. We lead well in every other context except the one that matters most. So you will utilize your leadership skills, perspective, and ability to set a direction. You will use your leadership, the ability to move people in a direction in a variety of arenas. I want to spend a whole podcast imploring you, use it at home, to use it within your household and within your family and within the relationships that matter most. So let me give you a couple quick things. Don't just scream. Communicate expectations clearly and set rewards and disciplines around them. Like, we understand this. Like, I can't go into my office and every single time we violate our values or act not in according to the long-term goals, I can't just yell. I have to set systems in place. I set rewards and, honestly, difficult conversations in place based upon those. But then I get home and I just yell. Don't just scream. Communicate expectations clearly and set rewards and discipline around them. Don't just get frustrated. Find multiple avenues of communication to restate goals. Don't just get, why aren't we always doing this? I told you guys once to do this and you never do this. I understand within my workplace that I have to use a variety of communication methods to clarify direction and restate how we do things. But I fail to do that at home and I just get frustrated. Don't just enforce rules. Tap into the unique motivation based upon the individual. With our team, I know what motivates the different members of our team. Like, I know what excites them and what brings energy behind it. And then I engage with my kids and I go, you will do it because I said you will do it. Now, let's just be clear. They will. And they do. But that's not good leadership. The better leadership at home is to know, hey, all of my children are wired differently. My spouse is wired differently. I communicate based upon their motivations and their values instead of just enforcing behaviors. Now, let me press you for a second. It's not quite Christmas. You're not going to love this part, okay? I just want to tell you that. You're not going to love this part, but my guess is you need this part. I want to give you 3 reasons why you don't lead at home. Hey, you understand, leading at home matters. Leading in your relationships, within your family, it matters. This is why you don't. Number 1, you don't adjust to the change of pace and maturity. Like, there is a different pace within your household than there is within your office. And there absolutely is, especially if you have young kids, a different level of maturity within your household than there is in your office. And you don't adjust to that. You come out of the office, you come out of your workplace, and you go into your household, and you don't change pace. You don't adjust to where people are in that moment. Or you do, but you hate it. You do, and you loathe it, and you become spiteful because of it. You have to adjust to the change of pace and maturity. Understand, you're doing things different. You're entering into a new space, and you don't lead at home because you don't adjust. Second reason why you don't lead at home, your ego is in the way, and you only want to command, and you don't want to serve. Families don't respond well to a command leadership structure. They respond well to a servant-based leadership structure. And if all you really want to do at the end of the day within your leadership is boss people around, you're not going to lead at home well. I would say your motivations for leadership are monumentally off, and your household becomes the primary place in which your motivations need to become refined. But if your ego is in the way, you're not going to lead at home. And the third one is my favorite, and it will be your least favorite. It's because you're lazy. Now, I get it. You're tired. You're tired. You're busy. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of different competing demands. But here's the deal. To be too tired to do what matters most is a failure to prioritize your energy properly. And if you are failing to prioritize your energy properly, you are lazy. And I get that that's hard. I don't disagree in any way that that's hard. But laziness allows our energy to go to substandard priorities. And we acknowledge leading at home matters most. So here's my close, and then we'll talk about it. CLOSE.
Wow.
You are replaceable in every environment except one. Don't fail to lead in the one environment where you are irreplaceable. You are replaceable in every environment except one. Don't fail to lead in the one environment where you are irreplaceable.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Man, so good. I love that we're doing this episode now.
Yeah.
It's powerful. It's relevant. It's necessary.
Yep.
Man, so many people's joy at their workplace, which is, we've had a few episodes about leading at home, not specifically called that, but we've had conversations about it, and they've been really good. But man, we know most of the people that are leading well in organizations and businesses are leading well at home first. They're leading well at home first, because that's where joy really starts. If you're doing all this stuff for your workplace and you don't come back home and find any joy, what's all that for anyway?
So we say it as most people who are leading well and loving it.
Yeah.
Are leading well at home
Right.
first.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, otherwise, what are you doing there to come home and celebrate what?
Absolutely.
The other thing I have, you said, I can't just yell. I just wanted to do that. That was just funny.
There we go.
That was good. But I will say this, and then I've got a question.
Okay.
For me, I didn't understand. I wrote this down while you were talking. I didn't understand what it looked like to become a good leader until I wanted to know what it looked like to learn to lead at home.
Oh, that's good.
That didn't matter because I didn't want to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's something that's so powerful for me personally.
That's great.
Now here's the question. You talked about change of pace and maturity in the workplace and home.
Yeah.
But what about the change in pace of the maturity as your kids grow up and how you parent differently? Some people,
oh, that's
like
good.
My parents, I hope you're not listening, would have, I'm just joking. I would say that they would probably agree with me. They parented 5-year-old VJ the same way as 15-year-old VJ.
Interesting.
They didn't probably, and they would probably be the first one to say we probably could have done a few things differently, right? And I think it's so important that you don't parent 5-year-old like 15-year-old. That's a change in pace. Talk more about that and what it looks like to lead throughout the years of your kids as they get older.
I don't have a teenager yet.
Yeah.
And so that is a hard dynamic that I don't have a teenager yet. That will change the game for me.
Yeah.
Once that's there. So my oldest right now is 10.
Yep.
And so that's just a little different because my kids right now, 4 of them, they are from 4 to 10. So they're unique, different. There's changes. We're dealing with issues with the 10-year-old. And I don't mean issues like, oh, she got it. Like
right.
Conversation, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Now, all of a sudden, texting, internet usage, all these other things.
That's right. That
phone
you're not
calls.
doing with your 4-year-old.
Yeah, we're not having those conversations.
I don't think, unless you bought your 4-year-old an iPhone for Christmas.
He wouldn't
December
know how
23rd.
to talk to people on the phone anyway.
He's actually really good at it.
So that'll change that. But the reality, the thing that is acknowledged is to go, especially, I believe talk about it as a parent. As a parent, you develop skill. You don't start with skill. Like you don't start with skill.
No.
You just start with enthusiasm, and then that enthusiasm wanes away with a couple sleepless nights, and that goes in a hurry.
That's exactly right.
You develop skill.
Yeah.
If you don't develop skill as they grow, you're gonna be hurting.
Yeah.
And so we acknowledge as a parent, if you are operating from a command structure and not an influence that comes from serving like paradigm, then it is going to get harder, much, much harder as you go on than it necessarily needs to. I just want to be clear. I know it's going to get harder.
Yeah.
I know it's going to get harder, but it gets exponentially harder than it needs to if you don't develop that skill.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people in the back of their head who have small children know it will get more difficult as it goes down time, but I think they kind of push that to the back and not to the forefront of where they're developing that next skill, whatever the case may be. What are you doing to prepare yourself for those next stages to lead well at home when your 10-year-old's 20 years old and your 4-year-old's 10?
So the perspective that I have in my head, if I yell, I'm losing.
Yeah.
If I'm yelling, I'm not winning in that moment. If I'm yelling, it's a last resort because I have lost my skill and I've lost influence in the situation.
Yeah.
And so I just always, and let's just be clear, I yell.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of days that Bethany and I will lay in bed at night and go, "Oh, we lost." Oh, we did not run that day well. We chalk it up as a loss.
Yeah.
And we go, "We'll get better tomorrow." And I want to say
that's good to recognize it as a loss so that you know how to make it a win down the road.
And there was a time that we would blame each other and be like, "Well, you did this."
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, but you did that.
Been there.
And to go, I don't know, we're at a spot where we go, "Hey, Bethany, you can have a bad day." And she acknowledges me. You can have a bad day. Like, I hate you for it. I'm not going to accuse you of it. And I think we're both self-aware enough to go, and we will call it out in the other person when we're not. And that's not fun, but it doesn't lead to a fight anymore to go, "Hey, you're doing this too much." Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You just own it in the moment and get better.
Yeah.
And I think it applies. So say it like this is the training grounds for the parenting is the marriage.
Yeah.
So you develop the skill to be a parent by communicating through complex priorities and different personalities within the marriage. And if you don't develop that skill within the marriage, you will be poorly equipped to then grow as a parent.
That's an excellent point. I love that. And you said something really important too. There is a lot of people over time that communication gap will widen, and what you're doing is closing it. You're closing it so that communication is constant and not just when something goes wrong. It's constant communication throughout the entirety of raising your kids. That's important.
So I would say one of the unique things is I just kind of look at my own life and progress, hopefully over time, is not that we've gotten better. We have gotten better in our relationship. We have gotten better in our parenting over time. There's no doubt to me. But the thing that has changed over time more than anything else is we're quicker to count our losses.
Yeah.
We're quicker to chalk it up and to go, blew that.
Yeah.
Blew that day. That was, oh man, that was a train wreck of a day.
Yeah.
And we don't attach it to our identity. We don't attach it to our self-worth.
Right.
And we're able to chalk it up and move on.
I don't think you realize the impact of you speaking that truth right now to someone who is going through that and struggling, especially around the holidays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that is a truth to say it's okay that I lost today because I have tomorrow.
Yeah. The number of times that I apologize to my children is immense.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Parents just generally, I can't remember before I became a Christian ever apologizing to my kids.
Yeah.
Can't even imagine. And the yelling, I can't remember the last time I yelled in a house. I can't. But I did it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't yell anymore. Just don't.
Oh, that's good. I yell a lot.
None. Zero.
Way to go, you.
Yeah. But I did.
Yeah.
When my kids were 10 and 8. And
Man, it's hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've got...
I did it all the time.
Man, some of my kids, it's like, man, when I yell, they respond. And then, unfortunately, there's one of them, when I yell, she shuts down. And sometimes I'll yell at the wrong kid and be like, oh, I'm sorry. I yelled at the shut down, start crying kid. Yeah. And my bad, Molly. That's on me. I apologize.
But yeah, then you yell at the one that shuts down, and you're like, "Why are you shutting down?" Yeah. You get a little more intense.
The biggest thing that I just kind of want to implore upon people is there's going to be some people on this holiday break, based upon the tension and stress within your family and the different change of pace and everything else going on, that you're going to come out of, you're going to be in this holiday break and you're going to be ready to go back to work because you are competent in your work and you don't feel as competent at home because employees, teammates respond to your statements, and that doesn't happen at home as much. And so we're gonna be drawn to the area in which we feel successful, and to go, please, please, please don't do that. Your leadership at home matters. It's important. It's significant. It will shape people for the rest of their lives. And so do not utilize your leadership skills and perspective and the goals that you set only in a workplace environment. Lead at home. You are irreplaceable at home. And so lead at home.
Yeah. I'll just, man, it's exactly. I'll follow this up just with a how do I want to say this? I can tell you this. I for years did it the wrong way. For years. My kids, and here's the message to someone right now, and I'm just going to say this. It's not over. You still can do it. You can still do it right now. You can change the yelling and turn it into something positive. You can count your losses and still turn it into wins. You can still turn things around even if you did it wrong too. You don't have to live in that anymore. You can actually listen to what's being told and apply it to your lives. And it's not over. It's just not over. And we know that Christmas is coming up in a couple days. First of all, we want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. And along those lines, if you don't have a home church, join us at behope.church because it's going to be here in a couple days, and we want you to be part of a church, no matter if it's Be Hope Church or another church. It doesn't matter what church you're a part of, but you need to be part of a church, because being part of a church will help you see how to lead at home.
Absolutely.
And what do you say about church? What do you always say something about church? It's so profane that
Profound.
Thank
not
you.
Profane.
Not profane. Yeah, it's not profane. It's profound. But you say it that you need to be part of a church because it's the community of the church itself makes you better.
Oh, absolutely. There is no greater impact on your growth than the culture that you are currently in. And there is no better culture to grow you as a person than the church.
It's exactly right. And that will help you lead at home. What do you want to leave today? We are past our time, but this was such an important topic.
Ready? Here's the end. Here's the end.
Yep.
Log off and engage. Log off right now and go engage with your family.
Man, I don't even need to say anything. They're already all left. Well, if you're still here and you did leave episode 60 Lead at Home, thank you guys for joining us online today and just being part of this. And if you're new to the podcast, haven't yet subscribed and didn't log off, hit that button right now. It would mean the world to us if you did. Also, post about it, rate and review, or both. You won't believe how it helps to get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders like you. We love hearing your stories of the podcast is working in your life and business. If you have a story, visit leadinghope.online and send that to us. We would love to hear your story. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll see you in a couple days. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count.